Hello YouTube. Today is the August 2015, and the topic is, well, how to define the topic. It should be something like gang stalking, unconscious gang stalking effect, and life as it is, and number 5, synchronicity. So I still don't know how to define this talk, but it's been going on a couple of days in my mind. I've tried to define the difference between real gang stalking, imagined gang stalking, synchronicities, and I'm still working on it. Honestly, I think it's a life project because it's complicated. What motivated me was the comment from Carissa Conti. She commented on my YouTube page when I commented on her book, which is, by the way, great, and I hope sound gonna be good this video. So her thesis was that many people confuse synchronicities with the gang stalking, people reading their minds. So they think that people are reading their minds, while in reality, simply synchronicity is going on. So this is what I think about it. And sorry about my appearance. I'm not trying to recruit YouTube members by talking philosophical conspiratorial talks on the YouTube shirtless, but my shirt, which is there, got wet of my sweat, and I didn't take spare one, so it's really uncomfortable to sit and with a very, very wet shirt. So that's been said. Pure gang stalking. Pure gang stalking is defined very well by the Deborah Duper and many other researchers. It has a certain logic. Targeted individual is either a politically outspoken person, somebody who was active in his community, like in my case, when I was showing movies of David Icke, Alex Jones, Stuart Sverdlov, and so on, 10 years ago, back in Croatia, every week in a theater, proper theater for shows and so on. Or somebody who has abilities to wake up spiritually in the future, and is coming there, so now it's time to take that person down. And that can be the case with many people around which simply are not politically active, but they've been targeted because they have potential. So this is pure gang stalking. Powers that be gonna decide, Illuminati gonna decide. They're gonna target the person, they're gonna mobilize their assets, police and local gang. Then they're gonna start many things, microwaving person, showing person that he's been watched. They're gonna start a smear and bad mouth campaign. They're gonna contact neighbors, and they're gonna sell this story to the neighbors that person is dangerous, that he's under surveillance, that he needs to be watched. And then friends slowly gonna start turning backs because people think logically. If many people spread rumors about one person, it's got to be somewhere. There's got to be something there, right? So this way, a person gonna be effectively removed from the community. He's gonna lose job, he's gonna lose friends, and then at the end he's gonna end up either homeless or in the mental institution or in prison or suicide. One of those options. If all that fails, then they're simply gonna kill him. But it's a gradual process because other people in the play must not notice that something is wrong with our reality. Second would be unconscious gang stalking. Unconscious gang stalking is when people simply send hate or provoke bad energy. Unconsciously, something moves in them hate towards a person or some comment, and they simply do it, and they react, and so on. It works very easy with psychopaths because they're just extensions of metaphysical evil. Organic portals, well, they need a little bit of rationalization. You move as a hate. Hate moves them in a certain direction, but it needs to explain them, at least in a very simple words, why that person got to be hated. Like those neighbors, they're simply gonna hear, oh, he's a bad person, police is interested in him, and so on, and they're gonna participate, even with the microwave. And this is this unconscious gang stalking. And I have an example from my life. There was one very weird event. I was back then working as a videographer on board Holland America ship MS Nordam. It was 2003 or 4, I can't remember now, but the ship was doing Mediterranean cruises. It would start in Tampa, Florida, then it would go, Bridgetown, Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, Aruba, Bonaire, and then ship would, the furthest point would be Isla del Margarita, which is an important place. I'm going to explain that, and then up Grand Cayman was the last port, and then Tampa, Florida. Every 2 weeks it was the same route. I think eight or nine same cruises in a season. Very cheap ship, like 700 passengers, all white, all old. Once I've seen a black old guy, and in 3 occasions I've seen groups of Latinos, young Latinos, and every single group was busted in Tampa, Florida, with huge quantities of drugs. I think heroin. I think first one was like 80 kilos of heroin in his suitcases, and they all got that stuff in Venezuela, and they all got busted in Fort Lauderdale. And when second group came, and I remember third group very vividly, but I'm gonna talk about first group. First group was consisted of one guy from Aruba, middle-aged guy, 2 boys, and 1 beautiful girl. So now you know the whole story. This was the first group, and nobody knew that they had drugs, really. But at this moment, I was working in a photo gallery. I was behind my desk, pictures left and right and in front of me, and behind me was a theater. And just before these people came from the theater into the gallery, I said, "Una chica latina," Latin girl, like a song, just came to me, and I said it. And they walked in, and she looked at me. Everybody looked at me. It's like, it's a real thing. And I was like, whoa. And my colleague, I think that was Daniel Morman, and I think that he's a manager now, or at least he was a manager of that company before. But back then, just a photographer like me, and he just, pushed me like, man, don't say these things. And this is one of these coincidences. I'm putting this on this analysis because I was simply a proxy. Something, just feeling came to me spontaneously to say something, and that person interpreted. It was, of course, pointed to her, because statistically she was one of 2 chica Latinas I've seen on that ship in 8 months. And every 2 weeks it was changing 700 people. One before her was one also very cute girl, but she was like daughter of a diplomat. So, Mexican, very cute. So of course that we all remember her. So what are the coincidences to have chica Latina on board Holland America ship? Really, guys, absolutely not 1 in 700, but imagine cruises and cruises and cruises with hundreds and hundreds of people, and no fresh Latinas there, only white and old and ugly, okay, and mostly Republican. So, I apologize to ugly Republicans. It was not political, but a really kind of emotional thing. So, so this would be this unconscious gang stalking, which actually now enters into realm of synchronicities. And synchronicities, I'm gonna try to quote Carl Gustav Jung, who coined this term. He was a Swiss psychologist from the era of Sigmund Freud, but he was of a different kind, more intuitive. So he said something like, synchronicity is a concept created by Carl Jung, which holds that events are wait, I have it here, and I have a nice picture of him. Can you see? And he doesn't have that bad-looking mustaches either. So he said, synchronicity is a concept created by psychiatrist Carl Jung, which holds that events are meaningful coincidences if they occur with no apparent causal relationship, yet seem to be meaningfully related. During his career, Jung finished several slightly different definitions of it. So yes, but Guys, if this reality is actually, well, it is a matrix, but the way I see it, and the way it always comes to me in meditation is something I just gonna try to explain it, but as we are like energy, like a light energy, and this grid is simply pressed on us. And I know that people are talking about hologram, and I simply don't see it as a hologram. I just the way it comes to me, it's simply the conscious like umbrella of a dark energy simply clutched onto the light, and everything is twisted. And in this twisted realm, actually, that evil has an upper arm, and synchronicities, in my understanding, would be elegant way of pushing people into certain direction. And I have example from my own life, and it was the year 1999. I was stupid and young, and in love with a girl from Germany, from Leipzig. And at that time, and I'm so ashamed to say this, but at that time I actually believed in a spiritual guidance. So I was listening my spiritual guides, which told me to go to Leipzig and see her. And I remember two strange things happened in 2 days. First thing, I could not find a hotel, and well, of course, we had a relationship before, but we kind of broke up. But I simply wanted to see her and see for myself. So, yeah, you could say that I was stalking her, but it was really minimalist stalking because she explained me everything in a few hours, and we never seen each other again. So when I came to Leipzig to surprise her, I could not find a hotel room, and while I was dwelling in a city, in a bus station, waiting for a bus which never came, one elderly guy took me and found me a nice bungalow in Leipzig Waren, right in the area where she lived back then. Very just amazingly close and very nice bungalows. New, it was not on the internet, and cheap, very nice. And then second thing is, in a town I met Tessa, a girl from States. She was there because she was living with her boyfriend from Germany, and I think we both had a fetish from Saxon beauty, and because we've been commenting how we feel about Saxons, and of course I had a thing for girls, really beautiful there. And then she told me that where she works in a cafe, a restaurant in a town, in a city, and she told me that she works for some Indian people and blah blah blah. It went in one ear, out the other. And next day when I was drinking a coffee in a city center, I figured it out. Well, these guys are Indians. There is that piano she was talking about. This is the place. And yeah, she also told me that they're looking for people to hire, and I was working as a waiter, and I was a student, and I had paperwork which could give me some legal working hours in Germany back then, and long story. So everything was perfect. I could even get a job if I only asked, in theory, but I didn't. So now I see the whole thing as just little game of matrix, and even then I intuitively figure it out. No, I think they're totally done. She doesn't want me, so I simply gave her a hug and took off. No problem. But as I want to say, this is kind of many synchronicities. You are in a foreign city, and then suddenly people helping you out. Even strange thing with the job. You get the information. You end up in a place where they're actually hiring, and so on. So yeah, this is one of those things. And I think it's just a game for mind. And I know that the synchronicities can look like spiritually uplifting and so on, but question is on the long run, where is that thing taking you? Because honestly, you're not setting up these synchronicities; they're happening to you. So who is doing them and why? And if you've been listening to me, you know my theory. We are souls taken into these dimensions to be leached out of the energy. When we die, we recover they let us to recover for some time, and then they put us again, and I don't know the way out. But I know some games.